What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the retro Iron Man carded She-Hulk. Let's see what we've got going on. Let's check it out. Now tuning into the Encountered Culture.
Anyway, stop being me, place. Counter-culture, it's in your face. It's fun to pretend that you want it to end. I'd rather be drinking with my friends. When we go out, you never see us again.
As promised, today we'll be taking a look at She-Hulk. Let's see what we've got going on. So we are on these Iron Man retro cards. I've already taken a look at Count Nefaria, so this is only the second figure I've received from this wave. They seem to be slowly trickling in, even though people are finding them at certain big box retailers already on discount. Odd situation. Anyway, I digress. So Whiplash will be coming next. I'm going to wait on the Iron Man figures, so I wanted to get these three. They were certainly the pick of the litter, if you will. I like the green color. She just pops on this card, so that's nice. You get an extra set of hands. You get a crushed weapon here, so that's a nice, neat accessory. Flip it to the back. There is your Iron Man logo. You've got the little diagram here showing you the swappable hands, some important information at the bottom, and then your blurb. She-Hulk, with incredible strength and a passion for justice, Jennifer Walters fights evil as both a lawyer and the gamma-powered superhero, She-Hulk, right? All right, let's get her out of the box. Fresh out of the package, this is a nice-looking figure. As I said already, the color just pops. That really bright green against this sort of lighter purple shade. It just brings a lot of color to the figure, something that I really like on my shelf, a figure that really stands out. So I think she will certainly do that. So I am absolutely looking forward to how she looks on the shelf in the display. Still need to figure out where I'm going to put her because I do have two other versions of She-Hulk already. So gonna do some moving around and just find the right spot, right? But as you see, we got the extra set of hands here. You've got this gun that has been crushed, broken in half almost. So that is something, a nice little detail, a nice little accessory to have and add to your collection. Whether you put it with her or not, there's probably a good use for that. Let's take a closer look at some articulation here. Moving in closer, we can get a nice look at this head sculpt. Just really nicely done. That, I mean, like the green sparkle in the lipstick really adds a nice effect to the face. You've got some good green coloring in here that just adds a good highlight to the hair. Every time that they do one of these head sculpts and really knock it out of the park, I'm just very much looking forward to getting that figure, right? One thing that's really going to hinder your articulation is this hair. There's a lot of it, so you're not going to have a ton of like back and forth movement on that, but we'll get into that. So that might be one thing, but honestly, it just looks really good, and I'll find a pose just to make it work. As far as the head, she will look down only to about there. The hair does start to hit right at the sort of trapezoid at top of shoulder area up here, and then only goes back to about there. So you can see, I mean, she'll basically just look straight forward. You can get some decent side to side, so you are going to be able to pose her. I mean, you can still get a nice look, and that face sculpt is just so good. All right, it'll go, yeah, I mean, you can move it pretty much all the way around. The hair will allow that. It's just going backwards that is going to really get in the way. The arms will move up to about there. Again, the hair being the limiting factor. And then if you go backwards, you can kind of get it to work all the way around. Arm will go up to about there, so you get a little bit higher than a T-pose straight out. Upper bicep cut. Double jointed pinless elbows. The shade of the elbows and the knees is a little bit different. That happens from time to time. I don't like it. It is very weird, but it is, I guess, one of those things that you can hide depending on the pose. You do have so you have a cut almost at the forearm. It doesn't rotate though. It is a separate piece, so that's a little bit odd. And then you do have your hinge and swivel at the wrist. The diaphragm, you do have all that upper ab articulation, so you can get plenty of movement around for her. Not really going forward though, and you do get some slightly back. So side to side is really good, forward not so much, and then nothing in the lower abdomen, so that will limit your articulation there. Leg goes out to about there, only back to about there, and then out to about there. Upper thigh cut, double jointed pinless at the knee. As you can see, again, that green is slightly different. And then you do have your boot cut up there and your ankle and swivel and hinge down here. Plastic feels a little bit gummy in areas, a little bit soft, and certainly like these forearm pieces and these calf pieces, they kind of feel like they want to pop off a little bit easier than you would normally be used to. So just wanted to point those things out. Not too bad though. It is still a really nice figure. For your hands, you do have your open set of hands, which these look really good. They're nice, probably the ones I'll end up using. Like I pointed out with the articulation, so when you remove the hands, this sort of wrist cuff will come off. You can see it's certainly been molded to fit on there, just not a separate point of articulation. And you do get your set of fists, which they also will look really nice. So I got to figure out how I'm going to display her, but either way, I'm happy with the choices. I don't need a ton of hand accessories for a figure like She-Hulk. I think the options are appropriate here. For comparison, here she is backed up against a couple of your previous She-Hulks. So I do have the A-Force version here, along with your fan channel, which was a repaint of the Super Skrull Wave She-Hulk. Gives you a good idea. She's a little bit taller than the fan channel version, and then definitely a good amount taller than your A-Force version. I like the height on this one. She is kind of just dominating in her height, so that's going to work out really well. I do feel like I'm thinking that's going to look really good on the shelf. I did think this was a good height, but even still, I do like the slightly taller version, and definitely provides a good height improvement over that. Although I still really like the A4 She-Hulk, even though she does have that sort of weird hip situation going on. Never really been a big problem with mine though. So there you go. You can see what she looks like against some of our previous She-Hulks. For a slightly more random comparison, here we have Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, Pizza Spidey, and your Target exclusive Black Widow. So Black Widow representing kind of the average Marvel Legends female character height. You can see that She-Hulk is significantly taller. As well, she is certainly taller than both versions of Spider-Man. Pizza Spidey being one of your taller Spider-Man figures. So it goes to show you, like, she's got some really nice height to her. And finally, here she is backed up against Power Princess. I think a buck that we all kind of thought She-Hulk would be on. So I know myself, I was certainly surprised to see that we got an entirely new body for She-Hulk to give her that bigger body presence. So that was certainly a pleasant surprise. I'd like to know what you think about that down in the comments. Were you more preferring that she be on the Power Princess body mold, or are you also, glad to see that we did get a different mold to give her a bigger body for the character? Alright, folks, well, there you have it. There is your Marvel Legends She-Hulk from the retro Iron Man wave. A figure I think some of us were surprised to see in that wave, but one that I think a lot of us were also glad to get. So, certainly some other costumes I would like to see, and I'm sure we'll get those down the line because they need to reuse this at some point. So I wouldn't be too concerned about not getting those other versions of She-Hulk at some point. Some things I would have liked to have seen a little bit different on this figure. I just wish that on some of these figures with, I guess, the colors that they choose, that they could better match the elbows and knees. It's not terrible, but you can see it certainly stands out. So it's a nitpicky thing, but one that I am a little bit picky about. Extra heads, for sure, always cool. This is a very lighthearted expression. Angry expressions are good. I know we have, a more angry expression on previous She-Hulks, but for some of us, this will be the definitive She-Hulk, right? So getting those options are good for those collectors, but it's okay with me. I'll figure out where she's going to go in the display, and I'll move on from there, So it's just one of those things, right? Other than that, it's a really nice figure. I do really enjoy this. I like this look. It's got a lot to love. There is some great color, great face sculpt. That hair looks really good. You get, a new weapon accessory, so you can put this in your battle damaged area if you want, if you're not going to display it with her. So that is nice to see. That's the 2 cents, folks. Do what you want with that information. Hopefully you got something out of it, though, and hopefully you enjoyed this. I do appreciate you for checking out the video, especially if you stayed this long. Of course, you can always find me on any of these socials down here. Most importantly, though, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe below. And until next time, take it easy.